moment you've been waiting for. A senior moment with your host, Kerry Saunders. We talk about your health, staying healthy, your wealth in your golden years, and so much more. And now, a senior moment with your host, Kerry Saunders.
Good morning. Good morning. This is Kerry Saunders, the host of a Senior Moment radio show. You can listen to me every Saturday here on WUFO Radio 96.5, 1080 AM. FM is 96.5, 1080 AM. I got that. Did you hear me? Could they hear me? Oh, okay. Let's start over again. This is Kerry Saunders. I had the microphone backwards this morning. Isn't that funny? This is Kerry on a Senior Moment radio show on WFO Radio 96.5, 1080. Good morning. You can listen to us here every Saturday on a WFO Radio. Is that better? Yeah, now you can hear me. And we got a special guest today, too, and you're going to want to hear him. There's John Flynn. He's our outgoing leaving district attorney. He'll be leaving us April 1st to go into private practice. So we have John Flynn live here today. So we're going to get to him in a couple of minutes. We just got to take care of our friends. We're proud to have Roswell Park Comprehensive Cancer Center as the sponsor of a Senior Moment radio show. You know, take a personal cancer risk assessment and go check out Roswell. If your doctor say you got a tumor or something, go to Roswell. Roswell's the number one. And I say this every week because it's true. And we're doing I'm helping Roswell with a lot of outreach. So we can all get screened for any types of cancer. You need to go and catch it early, especially when you start getting older. So Roswell is, they got a lot of stuff going on, and I left your sheet this week. So if you want to go in the community and find out where you can go get screened at in the community and stuff like that, just call Roswell. I left there. They got a lot of places to go to this week too. So, and I hope they're still happening next week, so I can give them to you then. It's Women's History Month, so we want to congratulate all the women out there, and you guys are keep making history. What you're doing is really, really strong and helping the community along. Without women, I don't know, maybe nobody would fight that other guy that's running for president. Because they can let them have it. So that's good. Yeah, that's really good. It's weather outside. It's winter again. Crazy. It's winter all over again. Believe me. I had to go outside and snowplow my driveway in front of my house this morning. It was like, oh, geez. Whoa, boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. Hey, Easter's next week, so the Broadway Market is popping. You go get your Easter brunch stuff from there, and the Broadway Market is becoming a really cool place to shop nowadays. You have a lot of different items that you can get for Easter in the Broadway Market every year at this time, and it starts to really pile up. And it's maple syrup weekend too, so I mean, just don't stick around, Buff. You can go out to towns and check it out where the maple syrup is at and all that other good stuff. Despite the weather, the roads are pretty clear though, because when I drove in here, they were clear despite the weather. So, but you know what? Let's get to our guy. I'm going to put him on camera on Senior Moment Facebook. And can we see you, John?
Yes, you can. Just tilt up a little bit there.
Huh?
Just tilt up a little bit. There you go.
Got it?
Yep.
All right. Can you see now?
Yep.
All right. So we have our District Attorney, John Flynn, with us today. Good morning, John Flynn.
Good morning, Kerry.
How you doing?
I'm doing great. I'll be at the Broadway Market next Saturday. I always go to the Broadway Market on the Saturday before Easter. I've been doing that since I've been a little kid.
Really?
Yeah.
Right.
Every Saturday before Easter, I always go to the Broadway Market, and I've passed that tradition on to my kids, and I've been taking my kids there for 30 years.
And you gonna keep doing it?
I'll keep doing it, yeah. Well, my kids are all gone now, though, but they're all
old,
you know. But I'm going.
Yeah, I'll be there.
I'll be there.
So let's get right to it. Tell our listeners why you wanted to leave. You're leaving the district attorney's office April 1st, right?
Yeah.
So tell our listeners why you wanted to. First of all, tell us why you wanted to be a district attorney of Erie County.
Well, I can answer both of those questions. Literally going back 8 years ago right now. I mean, Kerry, if you remember, 8 years ago right now, back in 2016, you and I were sitting here. You know, it wasn't a senior moment then, but we had some showing here. We were doing something, and you know, you and I were you and I have been thick as thieves for years. Okay.
You mean to tell me I've been on the senior moment for 8 years?
No, you haven't. But no, but you and I were here though.
No, it was a senior moment when we were last time we were here.
What?
Yeah.
Well, no, not when I first ran though. When I first ran in 2016, you didn't have the senior moment yet.
Then what did I have? I was the host of the show when you came in. It was senior moment.
Was it really?
Yeah.
I didn't think it was that old.
It's been on forever.
Has it really? Wow, I didn't realize that.
So, okay.
But anyway, you and I were sitting here, and you know, you and I were talking about, you know, hey, why do I want to be DA? And you know, I obviously said to you, and I said to the listeners out there that, you know, I want to bring fairness into this office. You know, I want to make sure that everyone is treated fairly in our society.
Right.
I want to make sure that the streets are safe. I want to make sure that our neighborhoods are safe. I want to make sure that the seniors can go out and we're going to walk to the store and walk to the park and play with their grandkids and not have to worry about drug dealers or criminals or robbers, you know, robbing them, you know. So it's a combination of things. It's a combination of keeping our seniors and keeping our community safe, and it's also a combination of being fair and making sure you're doing the right thing and making sure that you're not just throwing people in jail and throwing a key away, because that's not what I do, and that's not what this is all about. And then if you remember, Kerry, I told you 8 years ago that I was only going to run for 2 terms, that I was going to be a 2-term DA. You know, I personally believe in term limits. You know, I know the president's got term limits, 2 terms, 8 years, and so if our highest official can do 2 terms, then that's good enough for me. And so I promised the voters 8 years ago I would do 2 terms, and I'm sticking to my promises.
So that's why you wanted to be a district attorney. So you wanted to help the community, make the community safer,
absolutely,
and stuff like that.
And we've done that.
Yes. The community is safer. So. You're going into private practice. Why are you leaving and going to practice? And
so I you know, again, my term was up this year, so I would have been on the ballot in November. And again, like I said, I made a commitment 8 years ago to only do 2 terms, so I was going to be done this year anyway, you know, on December 31st. But a business opportunity arose for me. You know, just like a business opportunity arose for Congressman Higgins, where, you know, he was presented with the opportunity to move on early, and our great friend Timmy Kennedy is, you know, going to hopefully take his spot. And so a business opportunity arose for me with one of the, well, in my opinion, the best law firm in town, in Lippis Mathias, the 3rd biggest law firm in town, and just an outstanding firm that is important to our community. And they wanted me sooner rather than later. And so, like I said, it was an opportunity I couldn't pass by, and I didn't want to wait till the end of the year, because, you know, the opportunity may not be present itself at that point, because they due to some, you know, upcoming businesses and upcoming business opportunities, they wanted me sooner rather than later. So I'm starting April 1st.
Okay, so this is the final countdown.
This is it. This is our last senior moment show. Well, it's my last senior moment show as DA. I would hopefully you would bring it back in the future sometime. I still have a lot to offer the community, obviously, I believe.
I hope you stick around.
And I'm still going to be around, obviously, and I'm still going to be active, you know, in some other fashion, you know, in helping our community out.
So, tell the listeners what you're going to be doing in private practice. I mean, how it differs from what you're doing now.
Well, you know, it's going to be totally different. Well, I shouldn't say that. I mean, again, I'm going to work at Lippis Mathias, which is the 3rd biggest law firm in town. We have we have a number of different areas that we practice law in, but, you know, I'm going to be focused on a few. There's a big, you know, corporate government investigation section. So, you know, I'm going to be doing that kind of work. There's obviously litigation work. There's municipal law work that I'm going to try to, get kind of organized there at Lippis Mathias. I mean, you know, they do municipal law work there, but we're going to kind of maybe figure out how to put it all under one umbrella, where I'm going to be representing, cities and towns and villages here in Erie County. So, you know, I'll be involved with government. I'll be involved with investigations, but just more on the civil end of it and not on the criminal end of it, like I've been doing for the past almost 8 years now.
So private practice, here comes John Flynn. So be careful, guys.
Yes.
Here he comes.
I would agree with that.
So, do you feel like you accomplished everything you wanted to? Everything you wanted to?
Well, listen here. There's again, you want to accomplish in a perfect world. You want to, obviously eliminate crime, but that's not just realistic. There's always going to be crime. There's always going to be criminals. I accomplished what I want to accomplish as far as, one, changing the culture of the office. Two, getting our office out in the community more and letting them know who we are, and by doing that, building the trust in the community. So I think I've done that. We've been able to get the violent crime numbers down. That we had a spike during COVID, where we had, unfortunately, a lot of homicides and a lot of shootings in the city of Buffalo in 2021 and 2020. We've got them back down now to pre-COVID numbers. Obviously, one's too many, but we're working on getting them down. So I would like to see that continue to go lower. So in that regard, I haven't finished, when it comes to that. But listen here, my predecessor Mike Kane, who's my deputy DA, my successor Mike Kane, who's a deputy DA, is going to obviously focus on violent crime, making sure our community is safe. So at the end of the day, I'm satisfied with what I did, and I'm very proud of the accomplishments that I've done in the office.
So I can only say this because only visually, what I've seen and what other people have told me, and the previous DA before you didn't work in the community as openly as you have. Okay. That's what we see. So I can only say what we see. Do you think because of everything you've done, the community has a better relationship with the district attorney's office now?
Oh, no doubt.
What things have you done to make it better?
And again, I don't think it. I don't think it was just my immediate predecessor. I think the office, quite frankly, wasn't, historically, going back, to the beginning, 100, 200 years, whatever, wasn't in the community the way it should have been, quite frankly. Now, the Buffalo Police Department, and other police departments throughout the country established community policing 25, 30 years ago. But, the DA's office never really got onto that. That's what we did. That's the first thing we did. We established a community prosecution unit, all right, that worked hand in hand with the Buffalo Police community policing. And so when we work hand in hand with the Buffalo Police Department, and we're out there in the community, we're out at the hot dog picnic lunches, and we're out there in the churches, and we're out there at the YMCAs, and we're out there at the Boys and Girls Clubs, and we're out there in the high schools, and in the middle schools, and the elementary schools. We're out there. We've been out there for 8 years, and that has been, quite frankly, I believe, the biggest transformation in the office, because, being out there builds trust, and you need to have trust in the community. The community needs, especially the East Side community, which unfortunately is where a lot of the crime occurs. Here in the city of Buffalo, and the community needs to know that I'm not just out there throwing every young African-American male in jail. That's not what we're doing, okay? And that's not what we want to do. And so they need to know that, and I think that I've proven that over 8 years.
Now, Mike King will be, like you said, your assistant district attorney right now, or your deputy district attorney right now. He's going to be stepping in April 1st.
Yes.
Now, has he promised you that he will keep up the same relationships in the community that you have started, or what is this going to be a whole different direction? Just from what you know.
Oh, I can assure you that he's going to continue what we've been doing. He was instrumental in the creation of the Community Prosecution Bureau. Okay. He was my right hand man for the past 7+ years. So every program and every activity that we establish in that office, Mike Cain's fingerprints were on there, all right? And so there's no doubt we're going to continue. He's told me that, but not him. Actions speak louder than words. Ever since I announced that I wasn't going to run again and I'm going to step down on April 1st, he's been out there with you, Kerry. He's been out there in the community. He's been going to the churches. He's been going to the YMCA, on William Street there. He's going to the schools in the neighborhood. He's doing everything that I've been doing for the past 7 years to let the community know that this is going to continue. This is not going to stop. We are here for the people. And the people, the first and foremost people in my mind, are the residents of the city of Buffalo, because, again, like I said, unfortunately, that's where the majority of the crime occurs.
So, okay, so that's great, and Mike Cain's going to replicate what you've done and keep that going and keeping the doors open, like working with Stop the Violence and other people like that, right? Mm-hmm. So that's going to stay on its course for community, right? So let me ask you a question. You, as district attorney, do you think you've done more to diversify the DA's office?
Clearly.
So
let's go back to the very beginning. In 2017, I took over January 1st, 2017. I think I've mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again. I have 3 categories of employees in my office. I have the attorneys, I have the investigators, and I have the support staff. And the support staff are, the secretaries and the clerks and whatnot, okay? So I got three separate categories. Very first attorney I hired was African-American female. Went to undergrad at Historically Black College, okay? First ever graduate of an historical black college in the history of the DA's office. My very first hire as a lawyer. My very first support staff hire was my secretary, African-American female. Mm-hmm. Very first African-American female ever to be in the front office in the history of the DA's office. And my very first hire of an investigator was a Hispanic female. And then since then, just the other day, last week, mm-hmm. I hired my last attorney.
Right.
Hispanic male, okay?
Right.
And so now my first hire, my last hire, and then in between, I've hired more African Americans, Hispanics, Asians, diversified the office than by far any DA in the history of Erie County.
So
it's not even close, Kerry.
Has Mike Cain promised you again to keep that going?
Absolutely. And again, it's not only a promise, it's his actions, okay? Mm-hmm. Every hire that I've made in the past 8 years,
right,
his fingerprints are on as well, okay? We decide together, okay, who we're going to hire. It's not just me. I'm not a dictator. I collaborate with my staff. Mm-hmm. And Mike Cain's the chief of my staff. So every hire that I've made in the past 8 years has had Mike Cain, bringing them on board as well. And that's action.
And you've actually, there are more minorities in the DA's office since you took over, right?
Oh, by far. But in attorneys, hired an African American a female investigator, and support staff as well. So in all 3 categories, we have made it a point to hire minorities and diversify the office.
Now, I can't, I have to ask you about May 14th.
Oh, yeah.
I have to, because obviously you probably can say, and I might be totally wrong, but it's the most important case you had during your 8-year tender, right?
By far. By far.
By
far. It's the most important case we've had in the history of the city.
History of the city.
History of the city. I mean, I'm not even close.
So, do you think you have done all you can do to prosecute that racist gunman? Do you think you did all you can do?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we did it. We put him behind bars without parole for the rest of his life.
Okay.
We don't have the death penalty in New York. There's a federal death penalty, and the federal government is pursuing that. All right, but from a state standpoint, the death penalty is illegal in New York, and therefore we can't get the death penalty. So the most that you can do to an individual in the criminal justice system is put them in jail for the rest of their life without the possibility of parole, and he got that. So yeah, we clearly did the most that we could do. We charged him and found him guilty of a crime that has never. Not only was it never prosecuted in Erie County or Buffalo, it was never prosecuted in the state of New York. Never used before in the entire state of New York, and that is the domestic terrorism motivated by hate crime. That particular statute has been on the books since 2010, so it's relatively new law on the books. So it's been on the books for 14 years now, but it was never used in the history of the state of New York until May 14th, and I did it.
So you're happy. Well, I mean, you're satisfied. I shouldn't say happy.
Yeah.
Satisfied.
Oh, absolutely.
With everything you've done to stop the May 14th.
Yes. Oh, yeah.
So when you leave office, you can say, "I know I did a good job."
Correct. Absolutely. No doubt about it. And what's also important with that job, Kerry, is the community needed closure.
Okay.
The community needed that to happen and the prosecution to get complete as soon as possible. We had him arrested within an hour of the incident. Mm-hmm. We had a judge on a Saturday afternoon come downtown and arraign him within hours of the incident. We had him indicted within 2 weeks of the incident. He pled guilty within 6 months of the incident. Mm-hmm. That's unheard of, okay? Pled guilty within 6 months, was sentenced a couple months later, okay? So within 8 months of the incident, he was in jail for the rest of his life. And that, I think, was important as well, because we needed to give the community closure. Now, again, obviously the feds have their own thing going, and that's going to drag on, for a while, obviously. But that's out of my world. I got nothing to do with that. I can't control that. But from my standpoint, I brought closure, I brought quickness, I brought swiftness, and I brought justice.
So you're satisfied. You did
Absolutely.
Everything you can do. What about the cases you have open now? What happens with them after April 1st? I mean, people are probably sitting around talking about, our listeners, well, he's leaving, and there's...
Oh, they still continue on. So,
okay.
There's no... The only thing that changes come April 1st is, my signature on the indictments, and my name on the paperwork. Everything still goes forward. I mean, I got 111 lawyers in the office. Mm-hmm. All 111 lawyers are staying. Obviously there'll be new leadership, a new leader. The leadership will be the same because, all the deputy DAs are remaining in place. And, the bureau chiefs, for the time being are remaining in place as well. So the leadership is still there. The line prosecutors who are out there in the courts every day, they're not going anywhere, and the cases will just keep moving along without hiccup at all.
So you can say after April 1st, when Mike King takes over, things will pretty much be on the same plane.
Yes, sir. Absolutely.
And
same plane. No changes at all.
If you're listening and somebody who's being prosecuted, that's not going to stop.
Correct.
And everything else is going to stay the same. So April 1st, after you step down, maybe our listeners want to know about this. Mike Cain's going to take your place, but how does that transition work?
So the first deputy district attorney, upon a vacancy of the DA, automatically becomes the acting district attorney. So it's an automatic transfer. He will be the acting district attorney. Now, the governor has the ability to appoint a district attorney when there's a vacancy. So the governor has the ability to appoint Mike Cain as the DA, but it will only be till the end of the year, through the end of the year, because the election is in November. So there'll be election in November, and then he will, hopefully he will win, obviously, in November. And then on January 1st, he will then start a new term of office and take over as, if the governor does not appoint him, he would then take over as the DA on January 1st. But if the governor does not appoint him, he'll be the acting DA for the rest of the year.
So you don't have to do anything with the transition. You
No.
you don't have to say,
I signed a letter. I signed a letter yesterday.
You did?
Yeah.
Breaking news.
I signed a letter yesterday. I signed a letter. I signed a letter to the governor. Basically, dear governor, effective March 30th at 11:59 p.m. I hereby resign as district attorney of Erie County. So I signed that letter yesterday. That letter goes to the governor now, and a copy gets filed in the Erie County Clerk's office and the clerk of the legislature of Erie County. So that'll get filed. That'll get sent next week and filed next week, and I'll be effective 11:59 p.m. on March 30th.
So does Mike Cain have to swear on the Bible or anything on March 30th?
Yeah. He'll have to swear. He'll have to take an oath. Well, I know. To tell you the truth, I don't know that. Maybe I don't know if he's the acting DA by law. So I don't know if he's got to take an oath or not. That's a good question. But you know what? That's for him to worry about, not me.
So you sent the letter on. Okay. All right. So
that's all I got to do. All I got to do is officially resign by sending a letter to the governor and filing a copy with the clerk's office of the Erie County clerk and the Erie County legislature, which will be done next week.
Okay, so then you officially do. So that's next Saturday. You done?
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
Correct. Yeah.
You got 1 minute. So
Yes.
John,
So I got 1 minute here.
Let me just ask you one thing.
All right.
And you can
Then I want to thank you.
Your legacy.
Yes.
What do you want people to remember about John Flynn?
That I'm fair. That I'm compassionate. That I love this community. I love our community.
Okay.
I love the city of Buffalo. I care about the residents of the city of Buffalo, and that I always, did the right thing. And at the end of the day, I was always fair. And listen here, Carrie. Let me end this by basically saying that I wouldn't be here without you. Okay. You and I have been friends for 20, 30 years now. Okay, for a long time. We got involved in previous campaigns together, and I hadn't seen you in a while there back in 2016. There, it was a couple years I saw you. I saw you in the gym. I told you I was running for DA, and you said I want to help, and you were my right hand man through my campaign. And I can tell you, everyone out there, I would not be DA today without Kerry Saunders. It's plain and simple. And I thank you for that. And I'll never forget that, Kerry.
I know. Now I got to take my head and get out the door with it. Thank you so much, John.
Absolutely.
This is John Flynn. We got to go. He's been a great district attorney, and I think Mike Cain, like he said, will take his place and do just as well. So I think we're safe with Mike Cain, and the community just thanks you so much, John, for everything you've done for the community. And I know that. And I know I can speak for my radio listeners and that's my Facebook page right there. That's my Senior Moment Facebook page, and we're going to put that over so a lot of other people can be able to see it. Listen to it. Listen to John Flynn. Thank you so much for everything you've done. March 30th is your last day, man. It's hard to believe. Oh, my God. We got to go. See you later. Love you. This is WUFO Radio 96.5, a Senior Moment radio show. We'll see you here next week. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
You just heard A Senior Moment with Kerry Saunders. Join Kerry every Saturday morning at 11 a.m. right here for A Senior